Hello, everybody, and welcome into HCAM Sports Talk. I'm your host, Tom Nappy, and joining us on the show today, we have Jared Keene from the Metro West Daily News, and we also have Kevin Stone from the New England Football Journal, and Andy Barron should be popping in from my FM in a little bit as well. But guys, how are you?
Doing good, Tom. How are you?
Good, can't complain.
Doing well, Tom. How are you, man?
Very good. It's hot out there this week.
It is. Sure.
So it's going to make the games very interesting. Of course, we're already in the last week of the spring season pretty much, or there's one more week after this, and then you have your postseason. But guys, it's been good that all these games have gotten in and the weather has cooperated for the most part. I mean, this week there might be some issues with thunderstorms, but overall, you can't really complain about it. And what a spring season it's been. And especially now seeing the athletes without masks and everything kind of returning to normal. I think it's been great, guys. How have your experiences this spring been? Have you covered any great memorable games?
Jared,
I mean, it's been pretty good for the most part. I think, again, like you said, I mean, we've lucked out pretty good with weather, and I've seen a lot of blowouts. I haven't seen too many good ones, but hoping to maybe see some good ones at least in the playoffs. So
yeah, you were at the Millis Hopkinton softball game the other day, and I thought that was going to be a good one, but it didn't go so well for Hopkinton.
No, that did not. That got out of hand pretty quickly.
I'll tell you what, Millis, they're a strong team. They are.
They got a good squad. I was impressed.
And it's funny because a couple years ago, I don't think they were that good. And now they are right at the top of the TVL, and I think they're going to make a run for it.
They could. They certainly could.
Kevin, what about you? I know you've been doing a lot of lacrosse lately.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. I will say the most normal I've seen things. I was lucky enough to be at Gillette this weekend for the Premier Lacrosse League, and just seeing fans tailgating again. Actually throwing beers back in a parking lot and throwing some lacrosse balls around. That was the best thing I've seen all year, compared to any game or anything like that. The place wasn't jammed, but then again, it was 95 degrees. So, but yeah, man, it's the games. I've said the same thing pretty much every season so far. Going back to the spring football season, the level of play for all of these sports with so much uncertainty has been extremely impressive. I'm assuming Jared can kind of say the same thing as you as well. To see some of the level of talent and the way some of these games are going, just lacrosse for me, there's really been no drop off in terms of skill, and that's shocking to me with little to no training or off season prep. So credit to literally every coach and every player in almost every sport. It sounds cliche, but it's been impressive as hell, man.
And credit to every athletic director.
Yes, exactly.
I couldn't agree more with Kevin. I think, I mean, it's been very impressive to see kind of, a lot of the skill levels with a lot of these teams in different sports. I mean, I know Kevin's been doing a lot of lacrosse, but whether it be lacrosse or softball or, I mean, really anything that I've covered. I think early on, the first couple of games that I covered this year, you can kind of tell the teams are still kind of getting back into it a little bit. A few kinks in the softball field, some things to work out, lacrosse wise, but, for the most part, as the season has gone on, I mean, you can really tell, it's just been really impressive that, the skill level and just kind of how well some of these teams are playing, and, the fact that a lot of these teams just really haven't missed a beat. So,
yeah, I mean, I have to agree with that 100%. Just from my experience covering Hiller's boys lacrosse, they started off the season kind of shaky, not too well, but then as the season went on, they just got better and better, and they seemed to just really get back into the swing. But it took a while. It took a little longer than normal, I think, for the lacrosse team to get back in the swing. But they just got a big win on Monday against a tough Westwood team, and they're right in the playoff hunt. So I think, there has certainly been some situations where it takes some of these teams a little longer to get back in the swing, especially those teams that are young, that haven't played together before. there's a lot of teams out there that really don't have much experience playing together after skipping last spring. But as of right now, I would say pretty much everybody is back in the swing of things and ready to go. And believe it or not, it's almost postseason. So I think it's going to be some great playoff tournaments coming up this spring. I'm excited about it.
Well, it is postseason, right? It hasn't postseason actually started for a couple sports.
Yeah,
A couple,
Central
yes.
Best, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But baseball, softball, like they're
Yeah.
still in the season play, lacrosse. I think they had the girls golf. I think outdoor track is going into postseason soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a few already starting.
The weirdest. Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying the weirdest thing to me is that leagues are still doing league tournaments. I thought this was only, if there was no, state tournament thing. So that's been kind of a little bit strange to me.
Right.
But on the other hand, I kind of like it too. It's a postseason prep, I guess. It's just been weird to see them, some leagues still doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine they're probably count them as regular season games. I imagine
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe actually I hadn't thought of that. But yeah, they must be then.
Yeah, a lot of leagues, the TVL, I mean, they've played mostly league opponents. There hasn't been a lot of the games without a league rivals. There's been a few, but it's mostly division rivals. And that's because the games are limited. I mean, typically you get the standard 18, 20 games. Now it's 15, 16, something like that. So the season's a little shorter, but you get the full postseason. So I think that's a great thing. Yeah. And then, of course, we'll have Legion Baseball coming right up. And we'll be covering Ashland Legion on HCAM, and WACA TV and Ashland will be helping us out. But that is literally going to be starting next couple weeks. So
yeah, next week, I thought.
Yeah, right in the heat of the season. And obviously those teams with a lot of the high school athletes that are competing in the postseason won't be able to go. They'll have to wait a little bit and postpone games, but we'll be hopping right into it. And I don't know how many players will be in the playoffs from Ashland, but as long as they have a full squad, they'll be playing games starting, I believe the first one's June 21st. So right in the heat of the high school playoffs, we'll have Legion Baseball. But anyways, a lot to talk about on the show today. Of course, we're going to talk a whole lot about the Boston Bruins. Things did not go well on Monday against the Islanders. A tough 5-4 loss for the Bruins. And Tuukka, he looked a little shooken up. He got pulled out of the game. That's a tough game to lose at home, Game 5. I mean, you never want to say there's no chance, but to me, that was a must-win game. It's going to be really hard beating this Islanders team 2 games in a row. What was your guys' thoughts about Monday and how things went? Kevin, we'll start with you.
Everything comes back to Tuukka for me. You guys both know I can't stand him. To do what he did last night, 4 goals on I think 16 shots. Game 5 at home, you need to have it. And then to hear Bruce Cassidy say, yeah, he could have gone back in. It just speaks volumes about, look, he's a great regular season goalie. He's got all the numbers in the world. But ultimately, when you need him in a big spot, he's just not going to be there for you. And until people realize that, the Boohoo Tuukka crew, man, I don't know how people keep defending this guy. It's something every year. And yeah, he was good early in the series. But again, Game 5, deep in the series, he no-shows. And it's just the same thing, man. I'm honestly not surprised.
Yeah, I have to agree. Tuukka had a 750 save percentage, but that's not really that great. 12 again, he saved 12 out of 16. That's not a great ratio.
No, and the worst part is that he has all the historic numbers, and he's the best regular season Bruins goalie, and I think in history. So he's always going to have defenders when he really shouldn't. And obviously, I don't want to take up Jared's time as well, but the power play is an issue too. But if your number one goalie at $8 million is going to do what he did last night, you're not going to get over the hump.
I agree. You need good goaltending against this Islanders team, or you're just not going to win. Jared, what were your thoughts about Monday and how the series is going in general?
That was easily one of the most frustrating Bruins games I've ever watched. I've watched a lot of Bruins games. Again, I'm no beat reporter. I'm not, I'm not perfect, obviously, by any means, but I watched a lot of Bruins games. That's up there with easily one of the most frustrating I've ever watched. To outshoot them 40, what do we outshoot them? 45-20?
Yeah.
And lose a game like that? Come on.
In the third period, they outshot them 18-3 in the third period.
Yep.
And
that says it all. But
yeah,
I'm not the biggest Tuukka fan either. But what I will say is I don't actually think all those goals last night were on Tuukka. Tuukka did give up a couple bad goals last night, but if you watch them again, a couple of those goals were on lucky bounces. There was the goal off Clifton's skate that went right to Palmieri at the side of the net for an open net. That's just kind of unlucky. And then a lot of it is about, we can't clear the zone. Our defense doesn't know how to clear the zone. We're probably the worst team at clearing the defensive zone ever.
I'll be honest. I couldn't watch the game. I was covering lacrosse that day, but I did take a long look at some of the highlights. And yeah, in this series, they have been absolutely miserable at clearing the zone. This game, they outshot the Islanders, which it just blows my mind that it was a 5-4 score with how much they outshot them. But they have had a tough time clearing the zone against this Islanders team. And this Islanders team is relentless. They are relentless.
They are. I mean, they are, again, that's credit to the Islanders for, their forecheck. They're very obviously aggressive, but, again, when you're not able to clear the zone on a power play, and then you're basically allowing them to just rain shots on, get chances, they're going to put one of those away. And obviously they put a few away last night. Again, Tuukka did give up a couple of soft goals, but I wouldn't say all the goals were on Tuukka completely.
No.
I think, again, a couple of unlucky bounces and poor defense as well.
No.
But yeah, that was about as frustrating as it gets for me.
I agree. My whole thing with Tuukka, it's not necessarily, the game by game thing. It's just not knowing what you're going to get, night in and night out and year in and year out. At this point, it's game 6, and do we know who's starting or what you're going to get out of him? And it's the same thing every year. There should never always be a question around your number one $8 million guy. And there's always a question around him. And I guess that's what's most frustrating.
I hear you.
And I think there's a big question going forward. How healthy is this guy? He obviously didn't look like he could move very well in that game on Monday. Mm-hmm. And he was shooken up. I think it was towards the end of Saturday's game. So is he hurt? Is he even capable of playing 100%? Because I certainly don't think Swayman will get the job done. So I think Tuukka has a better shot at winning game 6 than Swayman does. And if Tuukka's shooken up, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in this team. And Andy Barron just popped in. Andy, what are your thoughts about this series?
Oh boy. Well, it seems like since game 4, it's not gone the Bruins' way. I mean, and that was obviously a hard fought game 4. The Islanders came on top, and last night was just, I think it's just one of those things. It's just the game was just kind of up and down all night. What I don't understand is, and this is just it's kind of all developing right now. It's like, Bruce Cassidy still hasn't said if Tuukka's going to start, or if you got to make this decision. I mean, you got one more day. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Swayman is the answer, though. I mean, I agree with Tom that I think Tuukka Rask is the best chance for you to win this game. But you are going back into Long Island. I mean, this place is going to be buzzing tomorrow night. I heard how loud that place was Saturday night. It sounded like the building was shaking. I mean, this is going to be a tall task for the Bruins. I'm not saying they can't win here. It's going to be tough. I mean, the Islanders are good. They're better than I thought they were, honestly. I said the Bruins were going to still win in 7. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's adding up. Bruce Cassidy's getting fined. They're criticizing the officials. I mean, it just seems like things are not going in this team's direction. Again, who knows what's going to happen? But I'm just not feeling really good about it. I think they're getting worn down. You're starting to see the injuries now starting to creep up. I mean, look at Craig Smith getting hurt in game 3. He came back in game 4. He came back in game 3. Luckily, because if he doesn't score that goal, this series is over. It just goes to show you, I mean, how close it is. But last night was really surprising. This was the Bruins had to win this game, and I just think they got outplayed.
And how they were just miserable on the power play.
Yeah.
Islanders scored 3 on 3 of 4 of their power plays, which is just unacceptable.
Can't do that
for the postseason. You got to have a better penalty kill than that.
I think
You could criticize the penalties all you want, but you got to have a better penalty kill than that.
Yeah, and Andy, real quick, I think the whole thing about not, making the decision yet, I think that goes back to who Tuca is. I don't think they know. I don't think they know if they can rely on him tomorrow until he wakes up and says, yeah, I'm good or yeah, I'm not. So I think that's just part of the whole Tuca experience that's been frustrating for a decade.
I don't even know if necessarily that Swayman is the answer, but I think Swayman at least came in the other night and gave them a chance. I mean, the goal that Swayman gave up, that wasn't even on Swayman, really. That was kind of, again, on the inability to clear the zone. And, but I mean, Swayman did come in the other night and give them a chance.
And look, if nothing else, it speaks to desperation. If you throw a rookie in on the road in a building that you're 1-5 in, maybe it wakes him up a little bit too.
Oh, man. I know I keep going back to this, but, man, that place is louder than I thought it was, really.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those fans love that team. I have never seen anything like it. And just want to switch gears real quick. The Montreal Canadiens are starting to really impress me.
Terrifying.
They look good.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean,
the way they dominated Winnipeg, and Winnipeg's a decent team. The way they dominated them, that was impressive.
Stunning. Carey Price looks like Tim Thomas in 2011.
He does. Great point. Great point.
Sure does.
Listen, I mean, is it really possible that the Canadians might run the table? I mean, I'm not a fan. I know none of us are, but you can't help but not be impressed. They were down 3-1 against Toronto. They beat, and Tom just said, they beat a very good Winnipeg team. And again, there's not a lot of fans in these hockey arenas. That team looks locked in. I would not want to play them right now.
I think they're also pretty pissed off from the Scheifele hit on Evans the other night, which was absolutely brutal. That was disgusting.
It's the definition of riding a hot goalie, I think. That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you get hot at the right time. That's all that matters in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I mean, you still could. I mean, it might be a long shot now, but it still could be a Bruins-Canadian Stanley Cup. It'll be the first time since 1978. I mean, it's looking a little bit dim, but, I don't know. I mean, this team has bounced back before, and it wouldn't shock me if they go down there and win Game 6, but it just I don't have a good feeling about it. I don't.
Do you think the Habs would beat Tampa Bay in a 7-game series right now? If Tampa Bay and the Habs played a 7-game series right now, do you think the Habs would win?
No.
I think they would make it a series, though.
Yeah,
I think they would.
It'd be close, but Tampa's talent is just dumb.
They are.
Tampa's ridiculous.
I think Tampa's taking the thing. But
let me just ask you this real quick. If the Islanders do beat the Bruins and play Tampa, do they give Tampa a series?
No.
See, I think they do.
It's possible. I think it's definitely possible.
So for me, this Islanders team,
do they win the series? No.
It feels a lot like the Blues series in 2019, where Boston was a better team, but St. Louis won. It feels identical again.
Kind of does.
I mean, Varlamov was ridiculous last night. And obviously, in that Blues series, Binnington was ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Blues were big. I mean, they were tough.
Yeah,
they were just bigger.
You know what scares me too is I understand having to play the whole referee game, but to do it to the extent that they did last night, I think they hurt themselves. I don't know if they necessarily favor the Bruins tomorrow night. Yeah, $25,000 is $25,000. Like if they had told the line and Bruce kind of kept it somewhat civilized, then I could see maybe the referees giving them a couple breaks tomorrow night. But they completely ripped into them last night. So I don't know if that necessarily works either.
I have to agree because you're going on the road.
Yeah.
Typically, the home teams are going to be a little bit favored. Mm-hmm. And you probably already ticked off some of the officials that are perhaps working the game over in New York. So, yeah, I don't know if that was the best idea for this point in the series. I certainly don't think they're going to give you any breaks because you did that. If anything, it's going to hurt you. So I don't think it was the smartest move in the world for them to do that. If the Islanders are able to end this series in Game 6, I think they'll give Tampa a run. But if this goes 7, And I think whoever comes out of this series is going to have a very tough time against Tampa, especially if Tampa just knocks off Carolina 4-1 and has a few days off, because both of these teams, no matter who comes out of it, is going to be beat up.
No question.
This was one of the most physical series that I can remember between these two teams.
I was going to say, really, in the whole decade run, it might be the most physical. And it's been crazy.
That's the thing with the Islanders.
Saturday night was insane.
Very physical.
Even Taylor Hall got in a fight.
He got into it. I think I heard Saturday night he got in an altercation with a fan. I heard somebody threw something at him, or
really?
And when he was in the penalty
I did not hear
box.
that.
I missed that one.
Definitely didn't hear that.
I heard he was chomping with the fan. I don't know, when he was in the penalty box. It doesn't really surprise me.
Interesting.
I mean, because of the way
you have sources.
Are you sure you're not talking about Kyrie Irving?
All I can tell you is it's going to be a very and Tom is right. This Bruins team, the injuries are really starting to pile up. I think the Islanders are a little bit healthier right now than them. So you're right. Yeah, they might get by this series, but I don't know if I like their chances going against Tampa. They're so good. I mean, they are. Let's face it. They're the Stanley Cup champs. I mean, they're
that's another thing. Even if the Bruins miraculously do win the series, I mean, it's probably the end of the road for them after this.
Yeah.
All right, let's go around the table. Stanley Cup predictions. What's your Stanley Cup final and who's the winner?
Oh, man.
I got Tampa Bay, and I really don't want to do this, but because I don't know if I have faith in Colorado or Vegas.
Colorado is so nasty.
Yeah,
Colorado is really good.
I'm going to say Tampa Bay and Colorado, and Tampa Bay wins it again. The Brady effect comes into play once again. Let's see. Jared, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I got to go Tampa Bay and Colorado. Give me Tampa Bay winning. I've been, nothing has shown me otherwise, but I mean, those are the two best teams that I've seen recently. I mean, again, you can make obviously a case from the Habs right now, but again, I think I'm going Tampa Bay and Colorado.
All right. Kevin.
Just because I can, I'm going to go Habs and Colorado, and I'm going to take the Habs, and I hate myself for it. But look, man, I don't remember, honestly, maybe since Jonathan Quick in 2012 with the Kings, seeing a team this hot. I think that Kings team, they might have lost one game. I think they went 16-1. And Montreal looks like they might be able to do it.
All right, well, Habs and Colorado is your Western Conference final. Who do you got coming out of the East?
Yeah, that whole crappy setup. So, Montreal and Tampa, I guess. And I got to go Montreal.
All right. Andy, how about you?
I hate to do it too, but I'm going to have to side with Kevin. I'm going with Tampa Bay and Montreal. And, the Canadians' mystique is something you can't really ignore. I mean, they're one of the most successful franchises in the history of sports. Their goaltending has always been great. Ken Dryden, Patrick Waugh, Carey Price. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, you have to ride the hot hand. And I would love to see a Bruins Canadian Stanley Cup. I think the ratings would be
epic,
unlike anything we've ever seen. But
it would be amazing.
The Bruins just are too banged up. I mean, let's face it. And like Jared said, they may get past the series with the Islanders. I just don't see how they can get past Tampa. You have to be realistic too. Look, they've had a good run, but if the Islanders are beating them up, and I'm going to have to take Tampa and Montreal, and barring injuries, I'm going to pick the Lightning to repeat.
And Andy, it's funny you mentioned, Ken Dryden and Patrick Waugh. I don't remember them. Well, I remember them, but not necessarily, watching them. Just being me and Jared are the same age, but yeah, I think I'm still scarred from like Jose Theodore in like 2008, stuff like that. Like I just don't. I can't count them out at this point.
And no Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup since the 1993 Canadiens.
Yep.
So it's been a long time. We've had some close calls with Edmonton and then Vancouver, but other than that, no Canada team has won.
Those are the Patrick Waugh days, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was last Stanley
one of the
Cup,
best.
I believe that was the end of the Montreal Forum as well.
Yep.
Yes, yeah. Patrick Waugh is always a Colorado Avalanche for me.
That's right. He did win one with the Avalanche.
Him and John Van Beesbrook of the Florida Panthers. That's what I fell in love with hockey. 96.
I mean, the Canadian teams, they've just choked in the Stanley Cup playoffs typically in the last 20 years or so.
Not in the 40s and 50s they didn't, but yeah, I mean, when they were just unstoppable. Yeah, they've had some rough Stanley Cups, but and I got to tell you, if they do end up increasing the capacity at the Bell Center, oh my goodness, you have no idea what hockey night in Montreal is like. I have seen it firsthand. It is unlike anything you've ever seen. They were playing the New Jersey Devils, and there were people celebrating in the streets. The bars are packed. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. It's insane. And actually, they treated me very well. I did have a Bruins shirt on. They actually were very nice to me because we had won the Stanley Cup the year before. So they had to be nice to me. But unlike anything I've ever seen hockey in Canada, it's just, you can't even describe it, really.
I would have been nervous to wear a Bruins shirt around
they
there.
were actually very nice to me.
That's good. That's good.
So this is random, but real quick. Andy, I went to Montreal when I was 18. It was like a senior trip.
Oh, yeah.
It was when France was in the World Cup. I have never seen a place like that in my life. Now, I'm assuming the Canadians might be, on par with that, obviously. But it's insane. Those people are nuts.
Montreal is one of the best cities you'll ever visit in your life.
It's a beautiful city, too.
Yeah.
It is a
great city. Outstanding
lots of
city.
great history there. They live and die for that hockey team. It's unlike anything I've ever seen, really.
Yep.
All right, so we'll reach out to the Montreal officials, get them to send us some money for promoting them and promoting their tourism. But they were showing clips of the streets in Montreal during the Montreal-Winnipeg game after Montreal won. So many people, and they were going nuts.
See your red.
Nuts.
I mean,
absolutely insane.
They were right outside the arena. I can't imagine it was easy getting out of there, but they were celebrating and dancing in the streets. And what a great scene it was. Obviously, we'd like to see Boston fans doing that over Montreal fans, but what a great scene it was over in Montreal. It's very cool. They're very passionate about hockey in that area. So, if they make the Stanley Cup Finals, it will certainly be a pretty crazy atmosphere. But
you guys want some good bagels? Go to Montreal. Bagels.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good.
Really good. Okay, random. Sorry.
I do want to go there sometime now. This show has.
It's a lot of fun, Tom. It's so fun.
It really is.
It's a good time, but you need to go when you're a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Right.
That is true.
Recovery time.
Very true. Very true.
Yes, you need some recovery time. I just wonder, since Montreal knocked off Winnipeg so quick, I mean, this could have the opposite effect of what you want because they're red hot right now. This could cool them off a little bit going into that series with Vegas or Colorado.
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of effect it's going to have. Either it's going to help them because they'll be able to rest and they'll be healthy, or it's going to cool them off. I've seen it go both ways when there's a sweep this late in the postseason.
I mean that Vegas team is a little sneaky too. I mean, they were just in the Stanley Cup a few years ago as well. Yep. They're kind of like the Islanders a little bit. They don't really have those real flashy players, but they always just kind of seem to be hanging around. And they've given the Avalanche some problems in this series. So this is hockey. This is why hockey, out of all the sports, is the best playoffs. I mean, outside of
couldn't agree more.
And I'd say the most unpredictable.
Can beat a 1 seed. It's not uncommon. It happens a lot more than you think. And it's just, basketball is very predictable for the most part, but not in hockey. I mean, it's just not.
Well, this year of the NBA, I really don't know who's going to win. I mean, the Lakers are out, which is great.
I'll stop caring.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm still curious to who's going to win it, but obviously I don't care as much as I did. I'm just glad the Lakers are out.
You got to go with the Nets, probably. I mean, the Nets are,
Let me just ask you real quick. Am I crazy to think that the Nets are better without James Harden? I think they are.
Probably.
They are.
They won by 40 last night without James Harden.
They're better without him.
Against a good Bucks team.
Yeah.
Harden
and here's
put
the
on
other
some
thing.
pounds.
Like, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, I'm not fans of them, but at least they've won something. James Harden hasn't won anything. I'm telling you, they're better without him.
Yeah.
It's great.
Probably. You're probably right.
He'll come back and ruin them. It'll be great. It'll probably be Brooklyn, though. Well, I don't know. 76ers maybe could give them a run, but actually,
that Atlanta team's starting to impress me. They are good. They're young. They're tough.
Yep.
That's another weird place to play, Atlanta. I don't know what it
Very
is.
strange.
Very
Trey Young is
place.
the new villain.
Look at how
Trey
much
Young is
trouble the Celtics had there when they won their first title. They couldn't win a game in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's a weird place. I don't know.
So real quick, I might as well ask everyone. I know, Tom, you're the facilitator here, but who's the next head coach of the Celtics?
I think it's going to be someone with a lot of experience. Whether that experience is playing the game or coaching previously, I think they should go for a player. I really do.
What about Jason Kidd?
No, God, no.
No.
Just he was. I don't think anyone would ever want to, or even be able to cheer for him around here, especially after 2002.
That's true.
How about a guy everyone loves, Paul Pierce?
No,
Chauncey Billups.
See, that's either him or Sam Cassell makes the most sense, I think. But I feel like a former player is almost a must for maybe any coaching, position except the NFL. I mean, you look at the Red Sox and Alex Cora. You look at how the NBA is going. Even the NHL has some younger coaches now. So
I would love KG. I would love if KG was the coach.
I think we said this last week. I think he would kill them. I don't know if he'd be able to handle it.
But imagine how entertaining it would be.
It'd be awesome. But I think it has to be a former player, though.
You know what?
You can't go get like Rick Carlisle or something like that.
Yeah, Kevin, I can see where you're coming from, and I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be iconic if it did. Carol Lawson.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because, and here's why. This team desperately needs to make a change. They can't go, and I like the names that you've all brought up, but I just was thinking about this. She has got a lot of respect. She has played for one of the best colleges in the history of college basketball. Mm-hmm. I think that players would listen to her. She's done a lot. I mean, she is very, very well known in the league, and Brad Stevens and her actually have gotten along very well.
Yeah.
Don't be shocked. Listen, this would be an iconic move if the Celtics were to do this. Because
either her or Becky Hammon as well. I think Becky Hammon is another name to watch out.
Else, it's for the image, if more than anything. Of course.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, are the players going to listen to a woman coach? Yes, I do. Yeah. I think they would. I think they would because she's done it. She's played at a high level. And listen, you're going to start thinking about Jason Kidd and Jaylen Brown here because they don't have many more years. I don't know what their contract
Jason Tatum?
4 years left for Tatum. Is he really going to want to stick around here after 4 years? These players do this. They jump ship. They go somewhere else. You've got to start giving these guys a reason for wanting to stay here. Yeah. I think this would be a phenomenal move if they were able to pull this off, and it would get me interested again. Who wouldn't be interested in this?
Yeah.
This team needs an identity. They don't have one. You've got to instill fear into these players, and I think she can do that. I really do. She needs to tell these guys, you're not as good as you think you are.
Do the Celtics have a chance at signing Damian Lillard? Yes or no?
If Brad trades himself, yeah.
He is so good, man.
He's ridiculous.
He does not get the credit.
He needs to leave Portland too. He needs to leave Portland desperately at this point.
Who would want to beat Portland right now?
Okay, so you put him
playing for the Trailblazers. That team is miserable.
Listen, it's time to say goodbye to Kemba Walker and Marcus Smart. You bring Damian Lillard in here. You have him, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams. That's a pretty good lineup right there.
Well, the problem is, who takes Kemba, though? That's such a bad contract.
Oh, that is a bad contract.
It's horrible.
That's going to be a tough contract to get out of.
Yeah, that is true.
And you now have a GM who's never done it before either.
Right.
So it might be a cluster.
Yeah, this isn't going to be easy. I mean, but as far as that coach, that's my number one pick. I don't know if it will happen, but I'm not going to be shocked if it does. It would be.
I like it, Andy. That's good stuff. Yeah.
For this franchise, and let's face it, the Celtics are still a historic franchise. I mean, I know they've only won 2 titles in 35 years.
They'll always be.
Of course. This would be a phenomenal move if they were to pull this off.
They have more. Do they have more championships than the Lakers?
I think
they're tied.
Yeah,
they're tied.
Yeah.
I think the Lakers' last one tied it.
Yes, they're tied.
I think 17 each.
Yep.
So who's gonna be back there first?
Lakers.
Probably.
Because
they'll probably be back next year.
Only because they have LeBron, and you always have a chance to win with LeBron. But boy, I tell you, the Phoenix Suns bulldozed them. I mean, there's a change of power going on in
Go
the West.
Suns.
You're seeing it with the
Go
Suns and the
Suns.
Jazz and the Nuggets and the Clippers. They're better than the
Yep.
Lakers right
I think
now.
LeBron
Definitely.
took a step back, though. I really do.
Yeah, I agree.
Age,
yeah.
age might be starting the show with LeBron.
Yep.
Miles on them. I mean, that's a physical conference. I mean, you got some good teams out there. I mean, I think Tom, I think you make a good point there. I mean, and Anthony Davis is just not reliable. He's a good player. Yes, of course, but he's never around. I mean, it's just what are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
Those two guys were not going to beat the Phoenix Suns. I mean, let's face it.
No.
Because Devin Booker, there's another guy. Whew. Wow, what a player!
What a player! Outstanding.
Suns are good.
They
All right,
are.
Tom, I think we need to talk some Julio. I think we need to talk Julio Jones.
Yes, I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
Julio Jones likely to be traded to the Titans. I am heartbroken. I'm disappointed. A little angry. I really wanted him on the Pats. I think he would have fit in very well. And I was just envisioning him lining up with Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne and Aguilar. What a receiving group that would have been. But the Titans snagged him away. So they have a pretty good receiving group now over in Tennessee. I'm having a total mind blank about who's on the receiving core, but they're pretty stacked.
AJ Brown.
Yes.
Really
that's
good.
who I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
And they also have
Corey Davis.
He's another good receiver, yeah.
Yep. And they have one of the best running backs in the league, too. So
Derrick Henry.
The problem is they still have a half-ass QB.
well, that's true.
Tannehill, yeah. Well, they're better. They're still better than the Patriots right now.
God.
I don't think Tannehill's the worst, though. I think he's pretty good. I think he's done well for Tennessee.
That's fair. Yeah.
He took him to the AFC title game. I mean, you gotta give him credit. Tennessee's good. They're gonna be a good team. We see them this year. That's gonna be a tough battle.
That's going to be a very tough battle.
Yeah,
I'm stunned that we're still worried about contracts if you're the Patriots when you don't have a receiving core still. You have Kendrick Bourne, you have Aguilar, but you're going to tell me that contract kept you from giving up a second and a fourth? Like, come on, man.
It's time for this team to compete.
Yes.
I'm sick and tired of this, man. Let's go. Like, I'm done. I'm sick of seeing Tom Brady winning. I'm sick of him talking.
Well,
I want to be relevant.
I'll never get sick of the GOAT winning. Hey, if the Patriots aren't going to win, I want to see Tom Brady win.
No.
I don't want to see anyone else. Patriots or Tom Brady. That's it.
No, it's just the money. It's getting annoying now.
It really is.
It is. They just spent $165 million in the offseason.
Right.
You can't afford to get Julio
I thought they were going to
Jones.
be super aggressive in getting Julio Jones. I really thought he was going to come here. I'm surprised that they didn't end up with him.
Guys, this is the most BS thing ever. I'm sorry. I can't hold it in any longer. This is absolute horse. Excuse my language. I mean, Kevin's exactly right. The fact that that one contract is holding up the Patriots from giving a second and a fourth for a receiver who can make a huge difference on our team.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Give me a break. I get that he's 32. I get that he missed 9 games last year due to injury. Doesn't practice a lot, blah, blah, blah. The guy is still a stud receiver. He averages 90 yards a game. He would make a huge difference on our team.
Oh, absolutely.
I think this is absolute crap. I could not be more pissed off about this. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Sorry, Jared. If you brought him in, him and Mac Jones automatically have the Alabama connection.
Yeah.
So I mean, that could have worked out too.
Right.
And real quick, while we're on them, do we really think Cam Newton hit his hand on a helmet? Because no one's seen it happen.
No, I think he legit got hurt.
I don't. See, I think he got in a fight somewhere, and then he went to practice to see if he could play. He couldn't, and they put on a show.
But wasn't it during the practice?
Supposedly it was.
But no one actually saw it happen. You have 55. Now, I'm hoping to get credentialed this year, but if you have 50 guys there and no one sees it, how is that possible?
What I heard was he was in practice participating, and then he walked over to the trainer. They checked out his hand, and then he went off into the locker room, and he was done for the day. That's what I heard. I mean, I don't know what happened.
It's a little sketchy. Sketchy.
It's so weird. And then Jarrett Stidham's getting all the reps. It's like,
and
What's
going
going
14
on
for
here?
15 while doing it.
Yeah, looking insane.
What is going on here? Like
The Saint Stidham looks good.
oh,
Maybe there is hope. They
Honestly,
say that every offseason, though.
I mean this sincerely. I would rather Brian Hoyer start.
Yeah.
If it's
After
not-
what he did against the Chiefs, I don't know.
But that's the thing. He moved the ball up and down the field,
he
and
did.
then just his mind exploded in the red zone.
He
Like, don't get me
did.
wrong, I'd rather Mac Jones be the starter, but if it's between, Cam or Stidham and Hoyer, give me Hoyer.
Well, who's that other guy they got? Is there another quarterback?
Is it Brian Lewerke,
Something like that. Is he any good? Maybe we can throw him in there.
the
This is
Michigan
getting
State kid? I think.
ridiculous. I mean, what are we
Weird
doing
break.
here?
But you're right, though. I mean, Jared, you have every reason to be mad. And we'll put a beep in that earlier thing you said. But anyways, they should be going all out. You're trying to get back into the playoffs. You're trying to get back as the division leader. You have this great opportunity to trade the second rounder and a fourth rounder for this guy. How can you not make this happen? That's a great deal.
Yes, it is, and you are a contender in the AFC if you make this happen. I'm not saying
Easily.
you're going to win it,
Easily.
but you are a top 5 team in the conference, no question about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're up there with
absolutely.
Kansas City, Cleveland.
Yeah.
You're
in the
relevant.
mix.
You're relevant.
Buffalo, you're right there.
I think they would have a better offense than Buffalo if they got Julio
Yeah,
Jones.
I
I
agree.
really do. I mean,
Yeah,
they
I know
missed
Right
the
now, they're
quarterback
still not better than
situation.
Buffalo. I mean, the Bills are still the best team in the division. I mean,
Right.
I think the Patriots have improved, but this would have put them up there. It's like that's why I'm saying I want to start being relevant again. Okay,
This guy's been maybe my favorite player in the league since he's come into the league. He's big, he's physical, he's got tremendous hands. He's a difference maker, and the fact that you can't give up a second and a fourth for this guy. I mean, again, I get that he's 32. He's got some injury issues, yeah, but he's a difference maker. He makes you relevant. He's all right. Yeah,
I'm sure Mike Vrabel was laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sure is.
Definitely.
Sure is.
Well, the Titans, they have become even more of a threat now. And
oh yeah,
if I'm doing rankings in the AFC, if you had Julio Jones, you'd be above the Titans. But since you don't, I put the Titans above you.
Yep.
I think that's the difference this guy makes. And I still think the Patriots are going to be very competitive. I think they'll be better than last year. I think they'll even compete for the division. But I just wonder, do they have enough in that receiving core?
I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see that at the end of the year when he needs to come in and make, when he can be a real difference, and you're going to see what maybe we could have been with him and what we are going to be without him. And that's going to, I think, ultimately, again, affect maybe what we do, how far we go, our record, anything.
And he wanted to come here too. He kept talking about it.
Yeah.
yes, that's great. He
That's
wanted
the
to
most
come
important
here.
part.
He's practically throwing himself at you, and all you got to do is give up a second and a fourth rounder, and you can't do it.
Come on,
I don't get it. I don't get it. You spent $165 million. You brought in 2 of the best tight ends in the league. You brought in all kinds of receivers, some great defensive guys. You spent all this money. Then you have this opportunity to add Julio Jones for a relatively low price that you could afford. You could work things out to make this happen, and you don't do it. You let him go to the Titans. Stupid. So I don't blame you for being mad, Jared. But anyways, guys.
Andy actually looks more disgusted than me right now, which is somehow possible.
We are just about out of time. We want to get to the Hillers highlights, but let's go around the table. Any final thoughts? Andy, we haven't heard from you in a while. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Are we seeing the final game Tuukka Rask is going to play in Boston tomorrow night?
If
I
they
hope
lose,
so.
I hope so.
Yep.
I
Even
hope
if they
so.
win, I hope so.
Well, they might need him for game 7. Unless you want to trust Swayman.
Probably at this point. Real quick, do not buy into the Red Sox yet. Their bullpen is still garbage, and their lineup isn't that good.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a negative person. You know that.
You never.
We're all negative.
We are. We should call this
Negative hour,
sports
right?
talk. All right. Yeah, I agree.
I got no final thoughts. My thoughts have been expressed.
They certainly have.
He's too angry for final thoughts.
Go Bruins. Go Bruins, I guess. Moderately go Bruins. I don't know.
Yes. Go Bruins. That's my final thought. Hopefully they can win game 6. If you win game 6, anything's possible. It comes down to one game. So win game 6, bring it all to one game. Take it home. Will they do it? Who knows? We'll find out.
Hopefully I survived the heat today. I got LS at AB or AB at LS Boys Lax at 4:15, which is a great game. But again, if I don't if I don't make it next week, I might have died in the heat today. So.
All right. Well, wear the sunscreen, drink plenty of water. That goes for all of you out there as well. If you're going outside today, it's a hot one. But for Andy Barron, Jared Keene, Kevin Stone, I'm Tom Nappy. Right now, here are the latest Hopkinton Hillers sports highlights. On Wednesday, May 19th, Hiller boys lacrosse took on Dover Sherborne.
Greg Pierce, one of the captains for Dover Sherborne. And here he comes, approaching the net. Feeds it over, looking for a shot. Rushing in and putting it in is Bradley Peterson. That's his second goal.
Dover Sherborne took the win 13-4. On Friday, May 21st, Hiller girls lacrosse took on Dedham and got the scoring going early and often.
Nice job, Sophia. Way to use your feet. Come on, buddy. Settle. Cutters, stay with Cutters. Ready to help. Pick. Those gotta be able to switch. Talk to each other.
Hillers took the match 14-2. Also on Friday, May 21st, Hillers softball took on Bellingham. The Hillers plated some runs in the bottom of the first.
And Can gets a piece of this one. Into center field it goes. One run is in. Here comes another run. 2 runs will score. A 2 RBI single for Charlotte Can.
4 runs plated in the bottom of the first. They added 4 more in the second.
Set to deliver, and this is tattooed into left field. 1 run is in. Here comes another run to score. And up to second goes Tara Kester. And she gets a good piece of this one over to center field, and it's not going to be caught. Here comes Kester in to score. An RBI single for Morse. Gets a piece of it over to right field and caught. And the runner from third will score, so she'll at least get the sacrifice.
Bottom of the third, Tara Kester at the plate. Hillers leading at the time 8-0.
And she tattoos this ball over to right center. See you later, home run! A 2 RBI home run for Tara Kester. What a moonshot that was. A 10-2 Hillers lead. Catherine Morse to the plate. Tara Kester goes yard.
Bellingham batting in the top of the 5th with 2 outs. Juliana Cedia trying to close out the Mercy win.
There's strike 3. Gets her looking.
Strike 3. The Hillers would end up taking the game by a final of 15-3 via a 5-inning mercy. On Monday, May 24th, Hiller boys lacrosse hosted Bellingham and got the scoring going early and often.
Keefe takes it out over to the far side. McDonald comes around, out in front, shot, and that is in. Logan Del Ponte, the freshman, with a goal. And there's a score. Owen McDonald off a nice assist from Logan Del Ponte. Over to the far side corner. Putting on the moves. Shot. Deflected. Picked up behind the net. Out in front. And Keefe with a nice goal. Great feed from McDonald.
5 goals in the first quarter, and the Hillers took the win in dominant fashion, 17-3. On Tuesday, May 25th, Hiller girls lacrosse celebrated senior night before taking on Norton. See the full ceremony and the game broadcast on our YouTube page. The Hillers got the scoring going early in the first half.
Driving in, feeds it over. There's Hayward. Lily Hayward feeds it out in front. And a shot. And a score, Lily York. And the Hillers have it. Lily York with it behind the net. Feeds it out. And another score. York found Emma Dacey just waiting in front of the net, and she puts it in.
Hopkinton improves to 6-4 on the season and took the win over Norton 14-2. Right after the girls' game, the boys had their senior day game versus Ashland. This goal in the third quarter by Ashland's Griffin Fink makes it a 2-point game. Hillers leading 6-4, and then a parade of Hillers scoring.
Stand up. Now over to Keefe. Now Murphy approaching. It takes a shot and nets it. Connor Murphy with a beauty. Takes it in. Approaching a minute and a half left. Murphy out in front and swiped in by Owen McDonald. What a beauty of a setup. He'll take it around, swings it out. Murphy closing in, shot, goal! Connor Murphy on a beauty of a setup by Owen McDonald. Yeah, I think this might just be a direct shot. There it is. Oh, it won't count. Time expired just before it was put in. Or will it? It says 9-4, so that's what we'll go with. Oh no, they did count it. 10-4. So a buzzer beater.
5 straight goals by the Hillers made it an 11-4 game at the time. Hopkinton took the win 14-7. The senior day festivities took place following the game. View the full senior day festivities during the game broadcast on our YouTube page, youtube.com/HCAMTV. On Thursday, May 27th, Hillers baseball took on Millis.
No, it couldn't have. There's a ground ball up the middle into center field. That's going to score a run. That'll give Mr. Seamus an RBI. We've broken the ice here. It's 1-0 Hopkinton.
Hillers plate 4 more runs and take the game 5-0. Hillers softball also took on Millis this past Thursday. Millis leading 1-0 heading into the top of the third.
And this is hit in the air over to center field and gone! A grand slam home run for Emma Tomlin. She goes yard and clears the bases. Unbelievable. It turns into a 6-run inning for Millis, and they lead it 7-0.
Millis plated 6 runs in the third and would take the game 13-5. Hopkinton is now 9-2 on the season. On Monday, June 1st, Hillers Track and Field took on Medfield. Here's a look.
And the girls are off for the second event of the day. Hopkinton getting out to a very strong start, but so is Medfield. as they are rounding the first curve. Hurdles are spaced around 30 to 40 meters apart from each other, giving the athletes not that much of space between them.
We see Hopkinton athlete Somya in second place. Let's see how she can get an advantage on this curve. Great strength Somya has is not only her speed, but her great form on the hurdles that allows her to go over quicker than her athletes.
Medfield seems to have a bit of a kick. Let's see if Sonia can keep up with her. Going down to the final 100 meters. One more hurdle after this. Let's see if she can make a move. Medfield in first, then Hopkinton, then Medfield again. Here comes the Medfield athlete. Can Sonia hold her off? Yes, she does. And then here comes another Medfield, Hopkinton. And we have one more Hopkinton athlete coming right up in lane 6.
Hillers boys and girls both take the meet. Both teams are now 4-0 on the season. Also on Monday, Hillers girls lacrosse took on Medway.
Along the near side she goes, approaching. Ball knocked out. Scanovan is going to take the shot and net it. 1-0 Hillers. Michaela Scanovan with the score. Center to Worrell. Worrell with the pass up to Lily York. York quickly approaching. Shot. And that is in. 2-0 Hillers. Brady goes up towards Donovan. Loose ball. Hillers have it. Here comes York. York feeds it out. What a great setup that was. York finds Worrell, and Worrell finds the net. A 3-1 Hillers lead. Takes the shot and nets it. Good score there to make it a 4-2 game. Around the horn they go. York. Out in front. Shot by McCullis, and it's in. A great setup by Lily York. Ball, York able to pick it up. York putting on the moves. Out in front. Shot. And Arena takes it and nets it. Beauty of a shot there by Jamie Arena. She had the pump fake, got the goaltender fooled, and was able to put it in.
Hillers net 6 goals in the first half and take the win 10-7. Lily York netted 4 goals in the game for the Hillers. And on Monday night, Hillers baseball took on Bellingham. Scoreless game heading into the bottom of the third.
Anyway, getting back to our out-of-towners, there's a fly ball in the left field. Left field, they're going to go over there, and it drops. That's going to be at least 2 bases. It's going for 3, and he's in there easy. Dylan Locke clears the bases. That ball just dropped in. It had about 1.5 feet fair. Left fielder Simpson had a good attempt on it, but tough luck, kid. 3-bagger. He's got a good move, must say.
Really does.
There's a ground ball over to second base. Picks it up. Throws to first. That run will score. Mr. Locke will get a handshake from his teammates.
Hillers plate 5 runs in the bottom of the third and would take the game 7-0. Hillers are now 10-1 on the season.